Study section 9. The placenta. Introduction. A baby in the stomach carries out the characteristics of living things, which are movements, respiration, nutrition, excretion, growth, and others. But you are aware that the baby cannot come out of the womb to carry out all these activities. Think about it. How then does the baby feed, breathe, and even pass out waste? It's very simple. Through the placenta, the parents pass nutrients to the baby, and the baby passes waste to the mother for evacuation. When a woman is pregnant, the baby is connected to the mother through what is called the placenta. Therefore, in this lecture, you will learn about the organ called the placenta, which links the fetus closely with the mother's circulation to perform many functions. The survival of the fetus depends on the integrity of the placenta. Learning outcomes. At the end of this study section, you will be able to 1. Define and describe the development of the placenta. 2. Explain the functions of the placenta. 3. Discuss the appearance of the placenta at term. Development of the placenta. The placenta, also known as afterbirth, is an organ that connects the developing fetus to the uterine wall to allow nutrient uptake, waste elimination, and gas exchange through the mother's blood supply, fight against internal infection, and produce hormone to support pregnancy. The chorion phoidosome, which is part of the trophoblast, develops into the placenta, will eventually develop into the placenta. The villi under the capsular decidua form the chorion leaf, bowed chorion, which is the origin of the chorionic membrane. The villi penetrate the residua, opening to form sinuses. The area surrounding the villi is known as blood spaces. The maternal blood circulates slowly, enabling the villi to absorb food and oxygen and excrete waste. These are known as the nutritive villi. A few villi are more deeply attached to the deciduous and are called anchoring villi. Each chorionic villus arises from one stem. Its center consists of mesoderm and fetal blood vessels, and branches of the umbilical artery and vein. The external layer of the villus is the syncytial trophoblast. 4 layers of the tissue separate the maternal blood from the fetal blood and make it possible for the two circulation to mix unless any villi are damaged. The placenta is completely formed and functioning from 10 weeks after fertilization. 4 layers of tissue separate water blood from fetal blood and make it impossible for the two circulation to meet unless any villi are damaged. The blood spaces, the nutritive villi, the anchoring villi, and the syncytial trophoblast. The mature placenta. In its early stages, it is a relatively loose structure, but becomes more compact as it matures. Between 12 to 20 weeks gestation, the placenta weighs more than the fetus because the fetal organs are insufficiently developed to cope with the metabolic process of nutrition. Functions of the placenta. From the introduction, you have studied that the placenta is the medium communication between the mother and the baby in the womb. By communication, it means that the baby carries out activities through the help of the mother, and of these are made possible with the placenta. Physiological functions of the hormone. Now therefore, you are going to learn in details the functions of the placenta. 1. Respiration. 2. Storage. 3. Nutrition. 4. Excretion. 5. Protection. Respiration. The fetus obtains oxygen and excretes carbon dioxide through the placenta. Oxygen from the mother's hemoglobin passes into fetal blood by simple diffusion, and similarly the fetus gives off carbon dioxide into the maternal blood. Storage. The placenta metabolizes glucose, stores it in the form of glycogen, and reconverts it to glucose as required. The placenta can also store iron and the fat-soluble vitamins. Nutrition. Amino acids are required for body building, glucose for energy, calcium and phosphorus for bones and teeth, and iron and other minerals for blood formation. Food for the fetus derives from the mother's diet and has already been broken down into simpler form by the time it reaches the placenta site. The placenta is able to select those substances required by the fetus. It can also break down complex nutrients into compounds which can be used by the fetus. Excretion. The main substance excreted from the fetus is carbon dioxide. Bilirubin is also excreted. The amounts of urea and uric acid excreted are very small. Protection. The placenta provides a limited barrier to infection. Few bacteria can penetrate. Viruses cross freely and may cause congenital abnormalities, as in the case of the rubella virus. Some drugs will cross to the fetus, although these are exceptions. For example, heparin. Towards the end of pregnancy, small antibodies, immunoglobulins, IgG, will be transferred to the fetus, and this will confer immunity on the baby for the first 3 months after birth. Only those antibodies which the mother herself possesses can be passed on. Hormonal endocrine functions of the placenta. The placenta also performs some hormone functions, which are 1. Human chorionic texture. Human chorionic gonadotropin HCG. 2. Production of estrogens. 3. Progesterone. 4. Human placental lactogen HPL. Human chorionic gonadotropin HCG. This is produced by the cytotrophoblast layer of the chorionic villi. Initially, if it's present in a very large quantities, it gradually reduces as the pregnancy advances. HCG forms the basis of the many pregnancy tests which are available as it is excreted in the mother's urine. Its function is to stimulate the growth and activity of the corpus luteum. Production of estrogen. The placenta produces estrogen which are secreted in large amounts throughout pregnancy. The fetus provides the placenta with a vital percussions for the production of estrogen. Estrogen production is on index of fetal placental well-being. Progesterone. This is made in the syncytial layer of the placenta in increasing quantities until immediately before the onset of labor, when its levels falls. Human placental lactogen, HPL. HPL has a role in glucose metabolism in pregnancy. It appears to have a connection with the activity of human growth hormone. As the level of HCG falls, so the level of HPL rises and continues throughout pregnancy. Appearance of the placental actin. The placenta is a round, flat mass about 20 cm in diameter and 2.5 cm thick at its center. It weighs approximately 1/6 of the baby's weight at term. The maternal surface. This surface is dark red in color and part of the basal decidual will have been separated with it. The surface is arranged in about 20 lobes which are separated by sulcus furrow, into which the deciduals dips down to form septal walls. The lobes are made up of lobes, each of which contains a single vellus with its branches. The fetal surface. The omnial covering, the fetal surface of the placenta, gives it a white shining appearance. Branches of the umbilical veins and arteries are visible, spreading out from the insertion of the umbilical cord, which is normally in the center. The fetal sac. The fetal sac consists of a double membrane. The outer membrane is the chorion, which lies under the capsular decidua and becomes close to the uterine wall. The inner membrane is the amnion, which contains the amniotic fluid as long as it remains intact. The fetal sac protects the fetus against ascending bacterial infection. Colon. This is a thick, opaque fibrous membrane derived from the trophoblast. It is continuous with the chorionic plate, which forms the base of the placenta. Amnion. This is a smooth, tough, translucent membrane derived from the inner cell mass. It is thought to have a role in the formation of the amniotic fluid. Study section summary. In this unit, you have learned that 1. The chorion fundosome, which is part of the trophoblast, will eventually develop into the placenta and the process of placental development. 2. The placenta performs functions which the fetus is unable to perform for itself and during intrauterine life. 3. The placenta at term is dark red in color and has two surfaces, the maternal and the fetal surfaces. End of study section 9. Thanks for listening.